Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, I'm going to be doing an episode for a regular listener that's actually sponsored an episode, and they wanted the episode to be around the topic of overeating. So I've worked with them before to help with kind of mindless snacking, and they'd seen progress there. But the key issue was when it came to actually sitting down to a meal, they would struggle with overeating at that particular meal. And that's not uncommon. Generally speaking, if you look at kind of different generations, go back, let's say, to your grandparents' generation, and generally they would have 3 meals a day. And obesity levels going back, just 2 or 3 generations, very, very low. What's happened is as an industry, the food industry has trained us really to feel constantly hungry. And that's because in the past we would have a meal, blood sugar would go up, insulin would offset that, it would go down, and there'd be a nice break, a few hours before another meal. And the kind of foods that we would eat at those meals would be the slow release energy, the low glycemic energy. What's happened is that the food industry has trained us to have this idea that whenever we're hungry, we then have to eat. And that was never the case. It was always the case in the past that if you were hungry, you considered it building up an appetite for your next meal. And that is no longer the dominant belief system now. But because of this idea of, if I'm hungry, I've got almost a duty to kind of respond to my body. What it's meant is that for those people, either at meal times or outside of that, they tend to overeat. And overeating in a meal can be the case of childhood programming. A lot of people grow up with this parental narrative of you have to finish whatever's on your plate. There are children starving in Africa, and therefore you can't waste food. So for a lot of people, there is this kind of feeling of not eat how much you want, but or need, but eat everything on your plate. And for some people, that doesn't involve one course. It might mean that you eat whatever's on your plate, but then you snack a little bit before that while you're cooking it or preparing it, and then maybe you have a dessert afterwards. And that can actually mean that the stomach is getting more food than it actually needs. And when you have that, it stretches the stomach. So the stomach gets bigger. There are different types of hunger. So one of the hunger, for example, is if your blood sugar is low and your body is just craving energy. So that could be something that we label hunger. Another hunger is that you see food and you want it and you label that hunger. Another type of hunger might be that your stomach starts to contract because the stomach is not one shape fits all, and that's why gastric bands became more popular, because it can get bigger or smaller depending on how much food you put in the stomach and how much you stretch it. So a contracting stomach can feel like hunger also. So this particular session is going to be dedicated to changing how you think about meal times, so that overeating happens less frequently, and when it does happen, it's seen as an exception rather than a new habit or a pattern. So Brad is the listener that has sponsored this. So thank you, Brad, for sponsoring this particular episode. If you're listening and you would like a particular episode on a particular topic, there'll be a link nearby that you can also sponsor an episode and decide what content you want this episode to be about. And Brad's requested that it's a particular type of induction in a particular way, focused on this idea of minimizing the idea of overeating. So thank you again, Brad, for sponsoring this show. For you listening right now, take a deep breath in, relax, enjoy the show, and I think this is going to be a good one. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in, imagine breathing in a feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow feelings of tension to leave your body. With each and every breath, I want you to get a sense that you're becoming deeper and deeper relaxed. Not that relaxation is required for really deep levels of hypnosis. Just that, right now, you don't need to be tense. And therefore, why not allow your body to relax for no reason other than it's good for your body to feel deeply relaxed now. As you breathe in and you breathe out, I want you to get a sense that you're becoming deeper and deeper relaxed. I want you to think of a place in nature. I want you to think of the favorite type of food, perhaps even your favorite meal. And I wonder, where in the world would be the most enjoyable place to eat that meal? If you like Italian food, maybe you can imagine being on one of the Italian islands like Sicily or Sardinia. If you like Mexican food, maybe you can imagine a beach on the coast of Mexico. If you like steak, you could imagine rural Argentina. Or perhaps a different type of food, but I want you to go to a place where it would be the most authentic place to experience what you would consider your favorite meal. Imagine you're in that place and there's no food around at this point. Just being in that place, perhaps in nature. Maybe you're outside and you can feel a breeze on your skin. And I want you to imagine there is a comfortable bed in this place. It could be a bed on a beach, in a forest, in the countryside, but just know two things. It's private and it's safe. Imagine this bed is in this private, safe place, no one else around. In exactly the location that if you were to eat a meal in this location, it would be the ideal place to eat what you would consider to be a delicious meal. Imagine lying on this bed, feeling the weight of your hands on either side of your body. Tension is useful when you're standing, when you're running, but tension isn't necessary when you're lying on a bed. So as you breathe in and breathe out, allow the tension to leave your body now. Very soon I will count down from 10 to 1, and with each descending number, you will feel more and more tension from different parts of your body is being identified, recognized, released, and let go so it leaves your body, allowing you to no longer need to hold on to that tension. And let's go through that process now. 10. Breathing in that feeling of resourceful relaxation and focusing on the muscles around your eyelids and your eyebrows. Become aware of any tension around the eyes. Breathe in that resourceful relaxation. Identify, recognize any tension. Feel it, perhaps even make it stronger. And then just decide to let it go. And then on your outward breath, feel that tension leaving your body. 9. Now focus on the muscles in your forehead, around your temple. And you know when people are very stressed because they furrow that brow. Become aware of any tension. There might be echoes of previous times. Identify it, recognize it, breathe in that relaxation, and then exhale and allow that tension to leave your body. That's it. 8. Focus on the muscles around your jaw and your cheeks, around your mouth. And tension can be an echo of a facial expression. Tension in the jaw, even around the nostrils, but breathe in that relaxation. Identify that tension and then release that tension now. 7. Focusing on the muscles in the neck and the shoulders as you're lying on a bed in nature. That's it, in the ideal country for a meal that you're about to experience. That's right. And then breathe in that relaxation. Feel the tension in your neck and your shoulders and just increase the tension and then release the tension, feeling it leave on your outward breath. 6. Allowing that relaxation to spread all the way down your arms, all the way down to your fingers, feeling that your arms are becoming heavier, limper, looser. That's it. If someone was to pick up your hand by your wrist, it would be all limp and loose, and allow it to fully release any and all tension remaining. That's it. Now, on your outward breath. 5. As you breathe in that resourceful relaxation, so even your internal organs relax. Allow your stomach to relax, your heart to relax, your lungs to relax. Even your digestive system, your diaphragm, allow it all to relax. Now, 4. That relaxation now going into your legs. Legs feeling heavier, limper, looser. That's it. 3. Into your calf muscles, even your ankles. 2. Into your toes. And I want you to imagine what it would be like to fall asleep there on that bed in nature, in that country or destination where it would be the ideal place to also have a meal later. That's it. And then 1, eyes getting heavier and heavier and heavier. That's it. Falling asleep there on that bed. And imagine that you've deeply fallen asleep, so much so that you start to dream vividly. And I wonder what it would be like to dream that you're no longer in your body, yet you can see your body lying in that bed. And I want you to move your arms or your legs to feel that there is no tension left. They're limp and they're loose and they flop back if you pick them up. And once you're convinced that that conscious part of you is fully disassociated, fast asleep, then I want you to notice that you can smell something nearby. The smell of your favorite meal. Someone has been cooking your favorite meal, and they've prepared it on a table. But I want you to identify that around this table is 3 plates. And on each plate is your favorite meal. Whatever right now would be the favorite meal to eat is exactly what is on these 3 different plates. But much like Goldilocks when she discovered a house with 3 bowls of porridge, I want you to imagine that these 3 plates are of different sizes. There is one miniature plate, tiny. Perhaps you could consider it a portion for a very small child. And then there is a medium-sized plate. And then there is a very large plate. This is your favorite meal. And there is one condition attached. And that is, whatever plate you choose, you must eat all of it, and you can eat not a tiny bit more. And I want you to get a sense that something else is entering your mind, and that is that when it comes to food, when it comes to meals, quality is more important than quantity. And you can see that all these 3 meals are of very high quality ingredients. You can smell them. You can see perhaps the heat coming off the food. And it occurs to you that you would rather have a smaller amount of good quality food than a large amount of rotten food or out of date food or food of just poor quality. So any ideas that you've had in the past that more is better, just allow them to leave your body now. You know that's not true. I want you to get a sense that the real value that you get from food isn't how much you eat, it's how much attention you pay to that food. I want you to entertain an idea that it's possible to eat all the food on the very largest plate without really paying attention to the taste or the texture or the flavors. You could just wolf it down, and you'd pay the price of all those calories and even forget what you've eaten. Many people have done that. They've eaten a meal and then an hour later they forgot what they had to eat. And equally, it's possible with that tiny plate that if you gave all of your attention to that tiny plate, it's possible that you could extract all the value from the smells, the textures, looking at the different colors. By paying absolute attention to the small amount on that plate, you would be able to pay attention to the nuance, the subtle flavors, the differences, the temperature. Just by giving it all of your attention, you could extract all the value. And then it occurs to you that even if you did that, you still may feel hungry, not because you haven't paid attention, but because it's such a small portion. And then it occurs to you that the obvious thing to do here is balance. I want you to get a sense. It's not necessarily the best to eat and eat and eat until you're feeling bloated and sick. And it's possible that you can have a small amount and really extract all the value you can from that meal. Imagine if you ate nothing for 2 or 3 days. Eating something as simple as a grape. You wouldn't just put it in, you would look at that grape, bite into it. The juice, the crunch, you would pay attention to everything. Because the less you eat, the more you value food. The better quality of food you choose, the less food you need. But equally, balance is essential. From this point forward, you will believe that you need less food than you think you need. And that's true. Because any excess body fat that you don't want is a bank account of calories that you've been saving up for a rainy day. And therefore you can eat less, but enjoy more, simply by paying attention to the food in front of you. And I want you to imagine taking a seat in this wonderful place, at this well-made table, choosing the middle portion, perhaps less than what you think you need. Not a giant portion, but not a tiny portion, just a reasonable portion. And I want you to pay attention to the colours, the textures. Really focus all of your attention on that food. Pay attention to the smell. Feel the temperature as you put the food in your mouth. Remember, all of your taste buds are on your tongue, not in your stomach. Therefore, the more time you spend chewing the food, the more flavour you can extract from that food. The value is not it being in your stomach. The value is it being in your mouth. That's where you can taste the flavours, experience the textures. That's where you can enjoy that meal. You will eat slower and you will enjoy more. You will remove any distractions like mobile phones, TV, anything else in the background, and fully focus on the food that you're eating. You will enjoy. And crucially, you will always leave something on your plate. Not because you have to, but because in doing so, you are winning a psychological battle that says, I decide when I'm finished. And I want you to do that. Perhaps 3/4 of what's on that plate you enjoy. You soak in all the flavours, the textures, the smells. Allow all of your senses to enjoy that food, and then at the point where 3/4 of that food has been eaten, just decide enough is enough and you don't want any more. And in doing so, I want you to notice each meal will feel like a victory. Because if you can say no to a delicious meal, your favourite food, you've taken all the value and you've decided enough is enough, I don't want any more. You've broken that rule. Just because there was a rule that says you have to eat everything on your plate, you've decided that that is not the case. And by breaking a rule, you become free of years of conditioned responses. Imagine Pavlov with his dogs and his bell, and just one of the dogs deciding, I don't want to salivate when I hear this bell. You can break free of your conditioning, and in doing so, empowers you in every other food choice in your life that you make. And interestingly, when you do that, you're sending a signal that you don't need or want anymore. And in response, your appetite reduces. You will enjoy food like never before. You'll pay attention to tastes and flavors and smells that you never knew existed. You will enjoy more by eating less, and you will win a victory every time you leave food on your plate, training your body to reduce your appetite, but still giving you more enjoyment from food than you've ever had. And then it's time to leave the table. And you leave the table feeling full, because each time you eat less, your stomach shrinks a bit more. And in doing so, your appetite reduces proportionate to the type of body that you want in your future. It's not that you're losing body fat, you're just swapping it for more energy, confidence, and better sleep. And that feels like a good trade-off. And you leave the table and see yourself sleeping in a bed, and you climb into that body, but you take all of these changes with you. And in doing so, you realize that you're not really in a bed in this particular part of the world. You're listening to my voice now, firmly in the present, These are all just thoughts within thoughts, dreams within dreams, ideas within ideas, and actually, you're listening to my voice firmly in the present. And very soon, I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, feeling that you have a different relationship with food. It is not the food in front of you that decides what gets eaten. You decide how much food you will consume. You will decide what you eat, how much you eat, and when you eat. And in doing so, you become the master of food rather than food being the master of you. And that change in power dynamics will spend and enable you to take your life in exactly the direction that you want to, enabling you to become more of who you want to be and giving you a sense of pride, freedom, and accomplishment. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.
Okay, so I've just stopped the podcast recording. I thought I'd just kind of have a little bit more of explanation of what was going on there for those watching on YouTube. So essentially, this is really about introducing mindfulness and a pattern interrupt to the idea of eating. So many people, I mean, put it this way, if you can drive a car on autopilot, you can certainly cook and eat a meal on autopilot. And most people's autopilot response is whatever they make, they're eating. You know, there is no point where they're stopping halfway through and they're saying, oh, I'll save this for later, because a lot of people have got that conditioning from childhood and the rest of their lives. So it's about breaking the pattern of feeling that more is better and breaking the pattern that you've got to eat whatever's in front of you. And when you break that pattern, it enables you to take control of something that perhaps you've lost control in a long time. If you found this episode useful, please hit the subscribe button, the bell button, the notification button. Share if you feel that someone you know would benefit from this episode. And equally, if you've got any feedback, thoughts, or comments you'd like to make, put them in the comment section, and then I'll respond to them as soon as I can. But hopefully you found this useful. And like I say, if there's an episode that you want in the future, just let me know. And if you want to kind of jump the queue, you can always click the link and get a sponsored episode, and then I'll get to that quicker. So thanks for watching, and see you again soon. Take care.